Hey people, this goes out to subscriber number 126 in Oh Girl Truths. This picture caught my eye the other day and I had to watch this movie. And she does a good job of pointing out some really important pages in some really important books. So after breaking down some of the overlooked names, it sent me on a chase and I much better understand why this serpent is all twisted through this tree of life now. But this is what it looks like when an alchemist reads the Bible. There's many books, it's all split up, and you're going to be all over, and you're going to be in some books you never thought were part of the Bible. So the first thing an alchemist does, he goes to the book of Lamentations, and he pulls all the pages out and laminates all of them, because he's going to have to go to them many times until he's got it all memorized. So these are all books of the shoe, and that would be the shoe of books that you get for the doctors. And if you did the work of the shoe, you would be a Yashu. If you had the knowledge of the work of the shoe, you would be Yeshua. So in times past, when people knew that any ailment you had was mainly caused by a psychological problem, first they would send out the witch doctor, the Ashipu, and he would roll the bones and he would talk to you. And if he couldn't cure it, then they would send out Ashu, and he had the knowledge of the fires connected. He could read the writings of the fires connected. This is a very valuable set of books. Everybody wanted them. So if you were trusted with them, you sat on them to make sure nothing happened. This would be the shoe. And so the shoe is the knowledge of the fires connected. That's the writing style of the doctors, of the medicine. And the fires divided, that was the writing style for the stars, for the astronomer. And the shoe also had that knowledge. That knowledge came before. So when Ashua come to see your people, you would bring him out your best chair and wash his feet, because you know he's been on the road. So a lot of this information was in plain sight, and it would be taught to you in schools, in all the songs that you would learn, and you would memorize the songs, and you really didn't understand what it meant. So when it came time, you could be given one lamination chart and a little explanation, then you would understand what that song you were singing all meant, and that would help you to have everything memorized. I found this old Jewish hymn online, and it was part of the books of the shoe, and it was in Zechariah, and the different wording in the music helped me to break the word down better to find out what it was about. But what it's saying is to extract the knowledge from the Iliad, to lift it from the Iliad. And so I went to searching for the Iliad, and I found a couple different copies, and it gave me a lot of information. So this one on the left is much older, and I can tell because of a couple spelling differences in it. And you can see it's written in the same way you would plow a field. It starts from right to left and then back the other direction. And the one on the right is later, and it's in Greek. And the reason I can tell is because it added some zeros in it. It added some zeros into math because it came at a different time. It was later on. So, and if you look at the top line, you'll see the AE there. That is the initials of God. That's the way God signs all his books. You'll see in there it says AE, and it says to make the death, and then the EA on the other end. A little clue in there, but that didn't mean death as we knew it. That meant to make the way of life to collect. So if you look on the second line, you'll see Solomon, and it'll be written the way you like to read it. It's going the other way on that second line, and the S starts in the green. And on the other side in the Greek, you can see where they put it on a total different line. It wasn't even part of the word, and that's the way all these books are now. They've been butchered up, and they don't want you to be able to read it. You can see in this oldest Torah, I could find the A on the end of it. You'll see in all these alchemy books, he left his signature in there, and this means they're all parts of the book. All this goes together, and you'll be tripping through all of it if you really want to understand what it says. Most of it has to do with distilling medicines and liquors to extract the medicine. So this Aya was the ether governing the sexual laws of the powers from the space. And these ancient people knew all about it, and they knew all about ether and how everything was created from it. So if you missed part one, you might want to go check it out, and you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about here. So all these books of Homer are the tears of Ra, the eye waters of Ra, and they were all mixed up. It had all the information in all of them, and the Bible will tell you which book to go to and where to extract your information out. Halfway through the Iliad, you'll see a list of all the aches and the cures for it. So what you might think is a word in the Bible is actually a book and page number of where to extract the information you're looking for. Most of this information was wide open. You've been looking at it all your life and didn't know what it was. Even as a doctor, what you thought was a piss color chart turned out to be another chart for the master brewer to tell him the times and what to extract. When you got all this information, you would go for a walk around town and look at everything you've been looking at all your life and find out all the secret codes that were in it, in the headgear, in the jewelry, in the shoes, in all the ancient artwork is be hidden. It would be like the old Cheshire cat that kind of just disappeared, and the last thing you saw was eyes and a smile. It would be there the whole time, but it just disappeared in all the other artwork in the scenery. You didn't realize what you were looking at until you had the books and you knew what to look for. So this missing book of Chaldeans, when you find it, it's not going to be called the Chaldeans. It'll be called the Connected Book of Dan. The CH on the begin means divided. But when you find the book, when you find the writings in the book, it won't be divided because it'll be connected to that book. And it'll just tell you what it's connected to, the connected writings to Dan. And that would be the Dan would be through the cycles. So in this book of the Odyssey, which means to see through the fire of Zeus, or to see pure, to make the fires of Zeus, you could see that the mentor was the son of alchemy. So we find this mentor also referenced in Corinthians, and it's saying to divide the water life to make fire through the mentor, and that would be the name given to it by the Greeks. I guess the old book of the noun, the seed to see connect the cycles, was wore out, had to be updated for the new times. So you would read through the mentor for the Christo to find the plants first to make the fire seal. So the first person to discover this would be the Lord Rothschild. He understood it. He understood the magic with it, and that's why he changed his name. And there's magic in the name. So he changed his name to mean the first to see, collect the fires, divided to make bind through. And he's the first one to discover the writings and understand, and that's why on his shield he'll have the 5 arrows. I'll get into that another time, but When you hear me say plants, I don't necessarily mean plants. This means everything that was in the book of the mother. It was all the pictures, and that meant what you were working with. It meant the rocks, the plants, the animals, uh, whatever the picture was that you had looked up. That would be the plants. You could see here the word a clue. And that's because nothing was ever given straight up. It only give you a clue. You have your mind didn't work well, you weren't going to figure it out. So I'm gonna leave y'all here with some notes and a little magic spell. Hope y'all will share this, and I'll get back with y'all soon. But yeah, the book was definitely written by God, and I think it was left here for us, and somebody decided that they didn't want us to have it. So good day. I hope y'all share this, and if you want me to keep it up, there's a donate button somewhere on my page there. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go back to work and get my bills paid. So please share.